Bam, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Voices Domain Toy Review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Zombie Sailors Toys, officially licensed Pinnacle Collection, Wrestling's Heels and Faces, Abdullah the Butcher. This is an awesome figure. I've waited over a year to get this guy. As far as I can tell, this might be the last wave of these figures in specific because of tariffs and stuff like that. I remember seeing like an email or a post from Zombie Sailors Toys saying that Series 1 is possibly going to be the last series due to manufacturing problems and stuff like that, due to the tariffs and the production costs. So, I mean, I don't know, I could be wrong about that, or that could have been something that I saw a long time ago that isn't the case anymore. Hopefully not. Hopefully the fans that do want more of these types of figures in this scale with this kind of quality are able to get that without problem. But yeah, looking at this guy, I knew I had to get this guy. Let's just take a look at what we got inside the packaging. First of all, really cool packaging. You're not going to be able to steal anything out of this. It kind of reminds me of the old Mezco and NECA packaging, where you'd really have to cut into it to get it open. And we got multiple face scans here, mixed media with the soft goods and the soft plastic. You see all the other figures in the officially licensed Pinnacle collection. Got Brian Pillman, King Kong Bundy, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and Abdullah the Butcher, obviously, in the Series 1 collection. Collect them all. I don't think I will. This bad boy was kind of expensive, but I'm definitely very excited to check them out, so let's get them open. Taking a look at this guy out of the packaging, he has immense presence, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it just looks awesome. Kind of a little turnaround here, show you everything it comes with, everything that he's got going on. Comes with this like little head dressing. Take that off. And we've got the classic Abdullah the Butcher look with the scars on the forehead. Really good sculpt here. I'm really digging this sculpt. Got the elbow pad. Let's see how much range he gets with that elbow pad. Alright, that's not bad. That's not bad. He immediately comes with his fork holding hand, which is cool. It's kind of a back and forth motion here. And then no butterfly joints. Kind of just straight into the shoulder. Not bad. Let's see how much range he gets. Oh, wow. A surprising amount of range here in the stomach, which is really cool. That's the full amount of range you get here with the elbows. And then another back and forth here with the wrist. Separate wrist pieces here, I'm noticing. And then we've got the soft goods, pants, which is, this part of the stomach is also a separate joint to this part. And then we've got some double jointed knees, which is nice. Get a lot of range out of that. And lift up here. Not a whole lot of range in the upper thigh, but we do have thigh cut. I can feel it. And down here at the ankles, we also have a boot cut too, which is nice. We also got a boot cut too, which is nice. And then rockers, which is nice too. Up and down here. Not a whole lot of range, but you don't need a whole lot of range for Abby. So that's cool. So in addition to the figure, you get what I showed earlier, the head dressing. And there's some really good detail here on the paint on the top part. And it fits over him really well. And when I took it out of the packaging, actually, there was like a little plastic piece that kind of protected the paints from inside onto his shoulders and head, which is much appreciated. Also, one thing I didn't mention is I really like kind of the design of the skin texture and everything. I think the paints on there look really, really good. Captures his skin pigment like really, really well, like kind of the darker spots of his body and whatnot, and the lighter spots. I also think that it's pretty cool that they added nipples. I've never really been a huge fan of nipples on wrestling figures because I feel like it's kind of like overly distracting to the kind of action portion of the figure itself. But in this case, I think it actually works out really well because he's got a very, shall I say, interesting physique, and I think they really add to the quality of the figure's accuracy when looking at it. So that's really, really cool. And in addition to his normal, like kind of like open gripping hand and then his fork stabbing hand, he comes with the elbow pad and the soft goods. I also like the elbow pad's kind of more dirty look. I think that's really good. He's got this bloody head, which I think looks really good with his tongue sticking out. Very ferocious. Very cool. We've got this extra head of him holding the fork in the hand, non-bloody. I think that looks awesome. That's a great head scan. And we've got these two other hands, like an open gripping hand on this side without the tape, and then an open gripping hand on this side with the tape without the fork. So that's really cool. Well, having looked at everything on this guy, this is an awesome figure. I really do hope I was wrong about that info, and to anybody that was disappointed, if I wasn't correct by the info, I apologize. And I hope that this line is able to continue because this is a really great wrestling figure. I mean, definitely pricier than I was really wanting to pay. I think I paid around like 60, 70 bucks with like shipping and everything like that. But that could have also factored into the cost and manufacturing issues that I mentioned earlier that Zombie Sailor Toys was having. And this is just an awesome figure. It really captures the essence of Abdullah the Butcher fantastically. With all these great accessories, the heads were easy to pop on and off, the hands were easy to pop on and off. I didn't feel like there was going to be any breaking or anything. The articulation is pretty much everything that you would need for an Abdullah the Butcher figure and more, really. The sculpting, the detailing, the mixed media of soft goods and soft plastic is fantastic. I'm really happy with the detail just in general on this figure, the forks and everything, the forks inclusion. There's so many cool Abdullah the Butcher figures, but this is definitely among the best. And also, just one thing I want to say is I'm really glad that we're getting more blood on wrestling action figures. You know, color has always been a big part of wrestling, and, you know, for such a long time, you know, obviously, Jakks Pacific did TNA figures, and they did WWE figures, and, you know, Mattel has been doing the WWE figures for a long time now. And there's been, you know, toy lines here and there, you know, Super 7 did New Japan and stuff like that, and there was, like, Ring of Honor toys, but I feel like just for such a long time, there was a real lack of blood represented in a lot of wrestling action figures. And, you know, Jazzware is doing that with AEW now, and a lot of these other companies doing blood, like this company, on the wrestlers themselves in figure form is just so awesome. I'm very glad that we're finally getting that representation, because, man, it is just such a big part of wrestling, especially with a character like Abdullah the Butcher. That is all I've got for today's review. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to do that. And Devonius,